Hey guys, it's KILLERmanJAYRO here, and we are here today on Dueling Network for me to showcase my Chaos Dragon deck. Now, a lot of people don't run this anymore because there are other decks like Mermill and stuff like that, and I'm just like, oh no, why? Chaos Dragons are still really fun to use. They bring out random stuff. You know, your opponent never knows what you're going to pull out next because this deck is so versatile. You can do whatever you want with it. And I see loads of people with, well, the same sort of main deck, but extra deck and side deck are always a little bit different. But I'm going to run you through my choice of a main deck, extra deck, and side deck, and then we're going to go on a duel and see what happens. So, for my main deck, I have Black the Soldier and Void the Beginning. Who, you know, you've got to have in a chaos deck. If you're going to have lights and darks, you put him in because he's just the most amazing beater ever. He wins games. You know, if you, like, I think one game I played, my opponent had nothing on the field but a 2,800 beater, and I drew him, and I was like, oh my god, because I had Honest in my hand, and what I ended up doing was I special summoned him, attacked, used Honest, so he gained 2,800, so that's a 5,800 beater I got on the field, and then because of his effect, I could then attack a second time, which killed him. You know, and it's just plays like that in this deck that are just amazing. I love it. We do run two card troopers, one there and one's there, but I've set my deck up so that I can side easily, so I can just choose the last 15 cards up to there, and then just swap them with those 15 cards. Of course, you've got your Chaos Sorcerer. You know, he's not as great as BLS, but you know, he's just as good. You go for banishing if they have an annoying card on the field that you don't want, an annoying monster card at least anyway. You just go, okay, I'm going to banish it. Dad, you know, this deck has so much grave control as long as you don't go over the top. You can usually get him out, although sometimes, you know, some mills are just really bad and you can't banish enough darks to get him out in a game, but it's not too bad, you know. He's a good gameplay. You go, oh, three darks, I'm going to special summon him and then blow up 3 cards on your field. And then I can still attack with 2,800. So, you know, he's great. You got 3 dark flares, one there, and one there. You know, Chaos Dragon deck, banish the light and the dark, he special summons, you can tribute him, his effect, you can send 1 dragon from your hand and 1 dragon from your deck to the grave to banish a card in either player's graveyard. You can either use his effect to banish your Eclipse Wyvern if you haven't already banished it by using one of Dark Flare's effect, or Chaos Sorcerer's effect, or Black Soldier's effect, or Light Pulsar's effect, or you can banish a card in their graveyard that you think is going to be annoying. And then also it lets you put cards like Red Eyes into the graveyard, because what I normally do is if I have Light Pulsar in my hand, I'll special summon him, I'll use his effect, ditch a Red Eyes from my deck, and I don't know, usually a Light Pulsar or another Dark Flare. Light Pulsar's effect I can use to get him out of the graveyard if he's in there, but we'll get to that in a minute. And of course Eclipse Wyvern, if that goes to the graveyard, which I like to mill him into the graveyard using Lilas, but you got other ways of getting him into the graveyard. He's alright if you just set him. I mean, he's got 1,600, you could use him to attack, but I just prefer to set him if I've got him in my hand. And then when he's sent to the graveyard, no wait, I think it's just when he's sent to the graveyard, you get to banish one, well no, you don't get to, you have to banish 1 level 7 or higher light or dark dragon from your deck. So you can get rid of your Red Eyes, you can get rid of your Dark Arm Dragon, if you really want to get those 2 cards out, the beaters out. Those are the only 2 targets you have, so just be aware of that. I do run 2 effect veilers now. I did run 3, but I decided to take 1 out. So, you know, just in the main phase of their turn, if they play a monster that's going to set them up for a really good combo, you can just go, yeah, I'm going to veiler that, and now you can't use your combo. What a shame. On top of that, use a breakthrough skill, just because this one can be used during either player's turn, and it can be used twice, because you can use it on the activation of the card, and then when it's in the graveyard you can banish it to use it a second time, so you know, it's 2 veilers in 1. And it can be used any time, so I thought, yeah, I'm going to put 1 breakthrough skill in because it's just good. We got Gauze, stop OTK, special summon it from your hand when you take damage, and then you get a token whose attack and defense is equal to the damage you took, or you can special summon him when you take effect damage, and then you do the same amount of damage you took to your opponent. The only catch of this card is that you must have nothing on your field to special summon him, which is, you know, a problem, but it's not that big a problem, because in this deck, if you're getting killed, it's because you have no field. We've got Honest, you know, he's got nice defense if you just want to set him and defend for a turn, and then you've also got his effect, which is, well, one effect of it is when, during your main phase, you can return it to your hand, while it's on the field, and then the other effect is when a light monster is attacked, you can increase that monster's attack by the attack of the opposing monster, so that's always cool. So you just beat over anything. Then you've got the 3 light pulsars, which one's down at the bottom. You know, you can special summon it by banishing a light and a dark. When it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one level 5 dark dragon from your grave, so that's how I usually get my Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon out if he's gone to the grave. You know, if I don't have any targets, I'll go for Dark Flare, but Dark Flare's quite a good one, because I usually, if I get another Dark Flare, I'll go for a setup on one of my XCs rank 5. So yeah, he's great. And then we've got Lila's. Lila Lightsworn Sorceresses. You know, you get to change the defense mode and destroy a spell trap card, so not only can you normal summon her, you get to put her to defense mode, which gives you defense for that turn, and then you get to destroy one of the macros, which is great, of your opponent, so you're just like, yeah, okay. And then at the end phase you get to mill, so you've got the chances of milling your Eclipse Wyvern, you've got your chances of milling some of your dragons that you want in the grave, all sorts like that. I don't think I went through Card Trooper, I think I just missed him for some reason. Card Trooper, we got, you know, you get to choose 1 to 3 of cards you want to mill from your deck, and then he gains 500 attack for each, and then when he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you get to draw a card. And then what I do with Card Trooper is that if I've got one in the graveyard and someone MSTs one of my few trap cards, and it's usually a Call of the Haunted, I'll chain Call of the Haunted, activate it, bring Card Trooper back from the graveyard, Call of the Haunted is destroyed, that forcibly destroys Card Trooper, and then I get the effect of Card Trooper, which is draw a card. So instead of getting a minus from my Call of the Haunted being destroyed, I get a 0 for drawing a card because I've just lost Call of the Haunted. But you know, it's not all that bad, and of course my opponent gets a -1 as well, so for using a card. Where are we? Yeah, so then Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, you know, it special summons by banishing 1 dragon. You can normal summon it if you really want to by tributing 2, but most people special summon it. Then you can, once per turn, you can special summon any dragon type from your either graveyard or hand, so you know, he's great. I mean, if I've got him on the field, I usually go straight for a Light Pulsar out of the grave, so that if Light Pulsar gets destroyed, I can get him back. If someone goes like Mirror Force, one good chain to go for is Mirror Force will take him and him out, but his effect means that I can then bring him back out of the graveyard. So that's what I usually do. So it's just like you know, it's just foolproofing myself so that I still get an attack in that battle phase. And then we've got Raikou, it just destroys one card on the field and I get to mill 3 for it, so you know, and it's a little bit of a defense, so that's always a good play. We've got the Trigonias, which are also the the OTK stoppers. These are a bit weaker than Gauls, but in some situations they're much better, and you don't need to have no field to special summon them, you just need to take battle damage. So that's great. We got a DDR, because occasionally I will banish cards like Red Eyes Darkness Metal, and sometimes I've banished Battle Soldier as well, and then I want to get him back, so I'll use that. But I only ever really banish him if I've got this and I know I'm going to get him back. And then of course we've got Staple, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn. Everyone's got to have those in this deck. Been through those. There's another, there's the Call of the Haunted, you know, just bring back a monster from my graveyard. Usually a Card Trooper, but sometimes I'll go for Light Pulsar or Dark Flare or Red Eyes, you know, whatever suits my situation at the time. We got the second, no, that's the third Lila, which I'm actually going to move up there right now. Come on. Yeah, anyway, there it goes, very slow. And then the other half of the deck, this is the deck that this is the part that I side. We've got the second Veiler there. Got Dark Mimic level 3, you know, you can set it, and then if it's destroyed by battle, you get to draw a card, so it's a little bit more draw power. Got your third Raikou there. We got tour guides. Got two of them. Use those with either Dart Mimic. I can usually use one, and then that one. And then this one I use with Night Assailant. I'll get to him a bit later on. Or if things get really sticky, I can just go. I can just use two of them on each other. We got the 3 MSTs, just because on this deck I like to just get rid of all the back row. Don't really like much back row, so the front row is not too much of a problem. I just beat over most of it. Just the back row I like to keep off. We got Return from Different Dimension, because I do so much banishing. Occasionally it's a lifesaver and an OTK setup actually if I get Return from Different Dimension, because I get to, usually I've ended up banishing, a couple of Dark Flares. Occasionally I've banished a Light Pulsar, maybe occasionally Red Eyes. If I play this, when I've got low life points, I get all those cards back. Oh, sorry, hiccups. And then I can easily go straight into either attack with all these cards, or I can go straight into a couple of XCs. And of course, then it's just a good play, and they don't really expect much like that happening. So I get to pay half my life points, but if I'm low on life points, it's not going to cost much. I use Seal of Orichalcos just because, sometimes my deck encounters huge beaters, like anything like 3000 is hard for me to beat over. So I put Seal of Orichalcos in it, and it makes all my monsters gain 500, which, in this deck is pretty insane, because, my strongest monster will have 3500, my average monsters will be at like 2900 each, my weak monsters will be at least at 1500 each, some topping at 2000. And then we've also got things like I can use this to chain effects or get my effects going, because sometimes I've special summoned a Light Pulsar and I have a Red Eyes Darkness in my graveyard, and I'm like, right, how can I get rid of this? And I'm like, ooh, I've got Seal of Orichalcos. I play it, it destroys all special summoned monsters on my field, so he gets destroyed. His effect goes off, I special summon a Red Eyes. Red Eyes gets the attack boost of this, so now he's at 3,300. And then his effect, I can special summon him out of the graveyard, and he's now at 2,900. So that's just huge. If you're staring down that, you're probably looking at game half. Not always. Dark Hole gets over it, stuff like that. But usually, if I'm pulling off stuff like that, you're pretty screwed. The only downside is I can't use my extra deck. But luckily, this deck doesn't revolve around the extra deck as much as most decks do nowadays. So that's why I like this card. That's why I put it in. We've got the second card trooper, which I swap in and out. We've got another Light Pulsar, another Dark Flare, we've got the second Call of the Haunted, and we have the Night Assailant, which is, you can either go for set it, when it's flipped, destroys one monster my opponent controls, or I can use it with Tour Guide and then get an Zen mains out. So then for the side deck is purely for Light Swans. A lot of people side against certain decks. I just decide, you know what, instead of siding against a certain deck, I'm going to get my opponent to side against my style of deck, but then I'm going to change my deck well, not completely, but I'm going to change the majority of how my deck works, and go for Light Swans instead, which instead of getting banished, they concentrate on the milling. So, if they're going to side against milling, if they're going to side against banishing, I'm now milling, not banishing, so they're in a bit of a problem. But I use Divine Dragon Aprathnith, I can't pronounce that, and just get a dragon from my graveyard to my hand, because sometimes you mill the JDs and you're like, no, I can't get that back. Well, with him, I get him back. We've got the two Gareths, just because when I mill, I get to mill two more, and I can potentially draw a card as well. We've got the Janes just because she gains a 300 attack and she mills 2, but she's a good attacking card. We got the two Luminas, special summon a Light Swan out of the graveyard. She mills 3, so she's a really good one to use. We've got JDs, obviously, blow up the field for a cost of 4,000. 4,000? Jesus Christ, 1,000 life points, and you just need 4 Light Swans in the graveyard to special summon him. We've got the Charged Light Brigade, mill 3, which is already a plus. And then you can get one Light Swan level 4 or lower from your deck to your hand. So I'll usually go for Lumina, so I can get another one out of the graveyard. But doesn't always go like that. You've got one Solar Recharge, just discard a light sworn monster. I'll usually discard Gareth or maybe Jane sometimes, and then mill 2, is it? I think it's mill 2. Yeah, mill 2, and then draw 2, then mill 2. And then we got Interplanetary or Purpley Thorny Dragon, just because, you know, that it's a good OTK stop sometimes. It stops like if an opponent's monsters, if you like first turn you set a card and your opponent plays a monster and they attack and they're like, yeah, okay, I beat over your monster, you can just go, well, now I'm going to special summon this. And on their first turn, most decks don't play something that's got 2000 or more attack, but some do. But you know, he's a good card to just drop on them. If it's got more than 2000 attack, obviously you just set it defense mode and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm all good now. But yeah, it's a good card to just drop on people. People don't really expect it. It's a dark dragon, so it replaces some of the darks that I lose here. And then we have the extra deck. We have a Gachi in case the time comes where I somehow manage to keep 2 Raikos on the field. But, you know, it's there just in case, because it could happen. And, you know, 2 attack position Raikos are not a great thing to have, so in case this situation ever comes up, I can just XE into Gachi. I've got the 2 wind-up Zen mains, because most people don't run 2, most people only run 1, and that's what I like about this. You know, you can run 2, and then you're like, I got past one of your Zen mains. Yep, you have, and now I'm going to drop a second one on you. And, you know, they don't expect it, and that's 4 cards you can destroy with the 2 Zen mains, so it's a good combo to go for. And then you've got the Queen Dragon Jin. You know, discard a material and get to special summon 1 level 5 or higher dragon from your graveyard. So you know you can go for your Red Eyes, Darkness Metal, you can go for your Light Pulsar, you can go for your Dark Flare, you can go for... Can you go for... I don't think you can, no. But yeah, you can go for all of those. Usually you've got a target, he's great. Then you've got the Variful Chain. You can either... it's just 2 level 4s, it's great. You can send 1 material from this card, detach a material, then you can either send 1 card from your deck to the graveyard, so you can send your Eclipse Wyvern if you want to, you can send your Red Eyes, you can send your Light Pulsar, you can send 1 of your Light Swarms if you really need one in the grave to special summon him, JD maybe, or you can put 1 card from your deck to the top of your deck, which you know is great. If you want Red Eyes in your hand next turn, you can do that. If you want JD in your hand next turn, you can do that. And then if he stays on the field longer, you could add the second JD to your top of your deck as well, if you've got all the cards you need to use them. You've got what else we got? We have a Gagaga Cowboy. You know, he has won me a duel. He's won me a duel before where I've been in a lockdown and I've got his life points really low, and it's like, oh, I can't do anything. No, why? Because he's got like a really high defense and I can't do anything about it. And I'm like, oh wait, if I just put him in defense mode, I can inflict 800 damage to him, and GG. I mean, 1600 damage. If you can get that off on someone when they've got low life points, you know, that's pretty much it. You can't do anything about it, particularly. So, you know, usually game at that point. You've got Utopia, you know, just because he's a staple, every deck has him. So, I've got a Utopia. We got a... Come on, load. Oh no, I timed out due to inactivity. 1 moment. Okay, carrying on. We've got a Star League, whatever the hell that says. Very sorry about my pronunciation of these cards. You know, 2 level 4 light monsters. You know, when we're siding our light swans, we've usually got the 2 level 4s. I mean, they're level 4. These are level 4. You could go for Eclipse Wyvern and detach it, and then use as effect. He's just a really good XC. You know, detach 2 material, and then you target 1 monster your opponent controls. Attack becomes 0, and if it does, the effects are negated. And when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, either by my opponent's card effect, so effects or battle, I can then draw a card. So he's a really, really good card. He's got 2000 attack. You know, not the biggest beater ever, but he's a really good card nonetheless. We got Shockmaster. I probably will never use him. I haven't used him yet in this deck because I don't normally get 3 level 4s out, but if he's there, I can use him. I think the main reason he's there is in case I have 3 level 4 or 2 level 4 light swans on the field and I'm milling too much. I can just get another one out on the field and then XC into him, so I stop milling. I've got the Volcasaurus for the 2 dark flares. You know, I can overlay them, and then I can detach one material and target one face-up monster my opponent controls, destroy it, then do damage equal to the original attack of that monster, and then the only downside is that Volcasaurus can't attack directly that turn. However, he can still attack. So, if your opponent still has a monster, you attack with Volcasaurus, and then you attack with everything else. So he's great. Arsenal Zenmo, he's amazing. Not many people use him in any deck, apart from maybe wind-ups, but not many people use him at all. I don't know why. He's amazing. You just attach one material, and then you get to destroy 2 set cards on the field. So I'll usually go into him if he's got a couple of set cards that I don't like the look of. I'll just go, okay, send Arsenal, detach, destroy those 2, and that's most of your defense. I mean, that's 2 out of 10 potential defense cards gone. That's a fifth of your defense gone. Most people don't even have that kind of defense most of the time, so it's a lot of your defense gone, and you can do it twice. That's 4 cards you can potentially destroy, and it's got 2,600 attack. So you know, he's great. He's really good at that. You've got the Photon Strike Bouncer. I can, whenever my opponent activates an effect, I can detach material, negate it, and inflict 1,000 damage to my opponent. So you know, just damage. He's got 2,700 attack. It's great. I can use that with my light pulsars if I fancy going for those. We've also got Heretic Dragon, King of Atom. You know, detach material, special summon 1 dragon type from my grave. Is it grave? No, from my deck. Sorry. And its attack and defense is 0. I mean, the attack and defense 0 is not amazing, but what I'll normally do is I'll get my light pulsars, detach material, get my red eyes out in defense mode with 0 attack and 0 defense, use his effect to get my light pulsar back out of the grave and on the field, and then end my turn. And then my opponent's going to be like, crap, he's got red eyes, I have to get rid of that. So they're going to attack red eyes. Oh no, what a problem I've got there, because then I can just wait for him to attack my light pulsar. My light pulsar will bring back him from the grave, or I can get rid of it myself. You know, there are ways to get rid of it. And you know, it's easy to do. And then we've got the last 2, which are level 8s. We got the Thunder End Dragon, which is just attach 1 and destroy every other monster on the field. And then we got the Galaxy Eyes Technon Dragon, which is during my battle phase negate the effects of all face-up monsters. Their attack and defense become the original attack and defense, and each time my opponent activates a card effect, this monster gains 1,000 attack until the end of the battle phase. And I believe it can attack, yeah, and it can also attack twice. Oh, I know, if the effect goes off, it can make a second attack. So, you know, it's pretty epic. Usually I'll use that if I happen to have 2 JDs on the field and I need to get rid of them, because they do mill 4, so it's a big burn. So if I need to get rid of my 2 JDs, I can just go into Thunder End Dragon, which still blow ups most of the field, or Technion Dragon, which stops effects. So that's my deck list for dragons. That was 20 minutes of talking. I hope you guys lasted. I think that'll be it for this one. I'll do the actual duel with it next episode. If you guys want to suggest a deck for me to build and test out, go through, and then, you know, test it out on someone on DN, post it in the comments. I will probably take most people's challenges at one point or another. If you'd like a duel against me, send me a message on DN. My name is the same as Mr. Hobo's online. It's the same as it's always been on YouTube. There it is. If you guys want to send me messages on DN, I'm usually, well, I'm not always online, but I'm online a fair amount. And yeah, I'll test out decks. I help you guys with decks that you may or may not be building, and until then, I'll see you guys next time.